Hey adventurers, welcome to Northern Virginia. We've had the first warm day in quite some time, and so it is going to be great to find nice species like this turtle here. This is a common snapping turtle, and we can tell just based on the size. It is huge. None of the other turtles come even close to the size, but we can also see that it has a nice big face and a big mouth to snap on things, and of course it's got a very rigid sort of back end of the shell, and the tail also has a lot of ridges on it, although it is a little difficult to see because it is covered in moss here. But I think we're going to have some luck today. We should get some interesting turtles in place, and I'm hoping for some frogs, and maybe if we're lucky, a sunbathing snake. So stay tuned and see what we're able to turn up here in Northern Virginia. Some tadpoles in the muck. You can see one of the tails there, another one. Oh, they're all wiggling through here. These are all going to be bullfrog tadpoles, and I can tell just by the size. There's some others that are going through this area here. There's one, but these are really big tadpoles. They're like a couple inches in length. Oh, there's another one. And so that is a great sign that these are bullfrogs, because bullfrogs are very big frogs. Now I'm hoping that as we sort of scan this area that we may be able to find an adult to show you, but we will keep on looking. All right, we've got some adults right there. We've got two. It looks like a tadpole just flew by. These are our bullfrogs, of course. It's hard to tell from this distance, but you will see that they don't have that dorsolateral line that you would see in a green frog. It just they have that little fold that goes back behind the eardrum and then it stops. So nice to see two of these bullfrogs, and I mean there are just tadpoles swimming everywhere. I think I saw a couple more around here. I'm sure this will be very plentiful if it were to start raining, with lots of calls from all these frogs. Now behind me are just a ton of turtles. It's a little hard to see. We'll zoom in just a second. But turtles can often be really hard to identify. So if you're having trouble, don't worry about it. Everybody has trouble. They're very variable in size. It's hard to see the field marks, especially if they're covered in muck. So don't be worried. This group is all pond sliders. You see that there's some red-eared sliders, some that don't have that red ear. Maybe they're different subspecies. It's hard to tell from this different distance, but really what you're looking for here is they're fairly large turtles, and they have some stripes on the face, and then they have either that red eye, or it could be absent if they're older or if it's different subspecies. And so seems to be what all of these turtles are, at least all the ones that I can see clearly. All right, we've got some easier turtles to see right here. These are two painted turtles, and the easiest way to identify these guys is really looking at that color that comes out in the shell. They have some nice reddish colors that comes out in kind of the lines, especially on the edge. They also have very streaky throats and faces, much streakier than the pond sliders that we saw a little while ago. And if you listen carefully, every now and then, I think there are some leopard frogs. We're in range of southern leopard frogs that are calling in the background here. They have this little chuckle that you might hear on occasion. But cool to see two more turtles here. Lovely pond sliders. Now I do think that it is really helpful to come to places like this. This is a nice boardwalk. Turtles can be really skittish, but when they're on places that are popular like this and you have a lot of people coming through, they get more used to people, and so you can get a little bit closer to see them and observe them and really know the field marks to identify them. All right, here is one of those close red-eared sliders or pond sliders. You can see he's got some shrieks on the head, but not very many. And of course, that red-eared area. These guys are also some of the biggest turtles besides the snapping turtle that we saw earlier. So excellent to get a nice close look at this guy. And again, we're in a nice boardwalk. These turtles are not skittish at all, which just makes it really nice and easy to observe here. All right, well, we have another massive common snapping turtle. Look at that. They are all so big here. I'm surprised we haven't found any small ones yet, but they just They're ambush predators, so they just lie in wait for their food to come near them, and they have this lure inside their mouth, and then when fish swim close by or anything else they want to eat, they just snap them all up. So it's cool to see another snapping turtle, and I actually saw one in the distance out there that was stuck in the mud. Oh, there we go. Our first salamander of the day. This is a small one, and actually it looks like he may have lost his tail at some point. This is a red-backed salamander, an eastern red-backed salamander, and pretty obvious from all that red coloration on the back. Now, the other thing I will show you is if we are able to pick him up and look at his belly, we can see that it has a very, you can just see the edge there, that's probably good enough, a very sort of salt and peppery look to it. You know, dark background with lots and lots of white specks. But that is a very good example of what these eastern redback salamanders look like. They all have those speckled bellies, and it's one way that we can differentiate this guy from similar species if we were in range. We're not at the moment. All right, he's starting to move. I am going to put his log back and put him right back where we found him. Bye. All right, now we've got another snapping turtle, common snapping turtle. This one we can see from the front, and you can see just how massive of a head they have. He is just starting to wake up, it looks like. He's just enjoying the sun. But yeah, these guys are just huge. We've seen a bunch of very big ones today. Now they can extend their necks fairly far to bite at either predators or prey. So we can't get too close. Unless we approach from the back. But yeah, generally if you do try to hold these guys, you need to hold them from the back because they can extend their necks out and really bite things that are just to the side of them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at that. It is so colorful. Look at all of those spots all over it. What a beautiful spotted turtle. Well, that was cool. Right behind me in this little drainage is where that spotted turtle was. The easiest thing to do to identify them is to see those spots in the center of their shoots on their shell. Super easy to identify. They are a somewhat widespread species, but not very common. So excellent to see that little guy swimming here. I wonder if there are any others in this drainage. I'm gonna go take a look. Okay, here we go. Some nice big old bullfrogs. These are much easier to see than the ones we found earlier. You can see no dorsolateral stripe going down the back there, and a pretty big frog. Now this little area is nice. I see there's a bullfrog right there. Back here, there's another one. I just heard one call from out there. We're able to hear a little bit, some frogs earlier doing this little like croak sound. This is what was making that call. Right here is a southern leopard frog. You can see very high contrasting dorsolateral folds, lots of spots on the back, and a little white dot on the eardrum, the tympanium. Those are the collection of our field marks for this guy. They also have some coloration in the hidden portion of their legs, although I will not be able to catch this guy because I can't go through all this muck in order to pick him up and show you. But maybe we'll find another one. We can take a close look. Nice. As I look up from recording that guy, I see that there's actually a bunch of them here. There are two more right there. And this one is nice. It has some green coloration to it. You can see that they can be quite variable, and the lighting's a little bit better to see that light spot in the eye. And there's another one with less green coloration, but these are all southern leopard frogs, all three of them here. And you know, there may even be more since they can be camouflaged quite well. All right, we just got a snake today. Look at this. This is a common water snake. It is a pretty small one too, but you can tell it's got a pretty small head, this nice sort of banded pattern, although not super distinct. And then of course the belly looks like that. But excellent to see this guy. Oh, he's got a little bit of water or drool on me. He's been trying to musk me pretty heavily. And I'm really just hoping that he doesn't bite me, because water snakes are known to be bitey, and when they do, you often bleed a lot because they have something in their saliva too, as an anticoagulant. So cool to see this guy. This is probably one of the first days that he's been up above ground, because it's been pretty cold recently. So nice to get one snake for the day. Well, we've had a really nice variety of creatures in just a couple hours out here right before we go back to California. I'm so glad we caught that snake and that spotted turtle. That was very exciting. If you like this kind of content, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot. I'm Greg Schechter. This is Schechter Natural History, and I'll see you in the field.